Diet, health and hygiene. The aims of this podcast are to explain some definitions of hygiene and cleanliness and to look at their effects on performance and health. One of the immediate effects of exercise is sweating, and you'll see that you'll often wear specialist clothing in order to cope with sweating. So some people wear sweatbands around their sort of head or around their wrists. Tennis players do that. That stops the sweat from getting down to their racket. If you're using sort of Adidas Climacool trainers, you'll notice that there's just holes in them everywhere. That means that there's air able to circulate around your feet. And what that air does, it is able to evaporate some of the sweat from your feet. You'll also look at some of the clothing that you wear. So Adidas, again, make Climacool clothing. And the same effect, it allows the sweat to be removed from your body. After exercise, it is vital that you shower. Even though your clothing might help with some removing of the sweat, it will still be there. And what that means when you shower is that you have to remove this sweat or perspiration, some of the dirt that will sort of acclimatise and sort of come around your body as a result of sweating, but also to remove a number of germs that will be able to breed in that sweat. By showering, you'll be able to prevent any infection, and that could happen if you've got some kind of broken skin, or able to prevent body odour. And that's what happens when the germs that live in your sweat are able to multiply. Those germs and bacteria give off a smell, and it's that smell that gives you body odour. You have to wash it away. Looking at your feet, there's a particular illness or condition that's called athlete's foot. Athlete's foot is a fungus, like mushrooms and toadstools, and is a fungus that affects the skin between the toes. It causes dry, flaky skin, and it can be incredibly itchy. Athlete's foot is easily transmitted in warm, damp conditions. The fungus that causes athlete's foot loves warm, damp trainers. Continually wearing warm, damp trainers will give you the condition of athlete's foot. You'll also catch it in swimming pools and changing areas because it's the right environment for them. It's warm and it's damp. Prevention is the best aspect of getting rid or even getting athlete's foot. Make sure that you ain't get your feet in warm, damp conditions. So, change your shoes and socks regularly. If you've just wore a pair of socks and a pair of trainers to do some sport, to do some exercise, tennis down the gym, squash, football, once you finish playing, change. Wear a different pair of shoes, wear a different pair of socks. Make sure that you wash your feet and dry them carefully and regularly, especially in between the toes. This means that the germs and the bacteria that can create athlete's foot can be cleaned. And also use a clean towel. If you've gone swimming with your mates, don't share a towel. One or two of you might be carrying the infection that causes athlete's foot, and therefore you might share it. If you use your own towel and your own clean towel, then the fungus that creates athlete's foot isn't going to infect you. There are cures for athlete's foot, but prevention is the best, to be honest. You can have a series of specialist treatments, special creams, powders and sprays, as well as there are particular brands of sock that will help prevent athlete's foot. Another form of foot infection is Verrucae. Now, Verrucae is a form of wart found on the soles of the feet. And a wart is actually a virus that infects the skin and causes the skin to go in a slightly different way, all sort of all horrible and yucky. The Verrucae virus, again, just like athlete's foot, loves warm, damp conditions. So, loves sweaty trainers. It's often caught in swimming pools and changing areas. That's why you have that special little foot bath before you leave the changing area, go into the swimming pool, and when you come back again. That little foot bath kills the bacteria that causes the virus that you find on your feet. Prevention will be the same as athlete's foot. You just don't let your feet get damp and wet. Then you ain't going to be able to get it because the Verrucae virus can't live in a dry condition. You can have specialist treatments that can cure it. There are also, if you go to the doctor, he might use liquid nitrogen and that can freeze the Verrucae off your foot. However, some verrucas that are either large or sort of got quite deep sort of roots, some of those might require an operation. As a summary, infections like athlete's foot and Verrucae, they'll occur through poor foot care. Therefore, it's important to keep your feet clean and dry, especially after exercise, in order to prevent infection.